Okay, hello. Welcome to the Horns of Cerunnos. This is part six for this group one or two, or whatever, group B, A, I don't know. This group. And, yeah, so last session, they murdered a Jarl and made a deal with the sorcerer who teleported them through some sort of hell dimension to end up at the gates of an enormous castle. And they managed to talk to a giant. Sorry managed to sneak around unsuccessfully and was caught. But either way, they managed to talk to this giant Conchobor who had been guarding the exit of the castle for a long time. He alluded to the fact that there was nastiness down below in the depths. And so the guys had decided they were going to go clean it out and take over the castle. So I'll get everyone to introduce themselves. We'll start with just yourselves and your characters. Mr. Knapp.
Hey guys, Andrew Knapp, aka SR2 Joker. Actually, that's Andrew, he that speaks with animals, Knapp. I'm a nature buff in this game. I'm playing Reinvald, level 5 Paladin of Odin. That's what it's going to be.
Sweet. Dennis?
I'm Dennis. I'm playing Vidar Hund, sometimes called the Hound. He's a half-giant, level 5 barbarian, pack master who is now traveling with a Thunderwolf.
And the dog.
Right, and the dog that I had before you.
Let's not forget about the dog.
Yeah, I keep him around.
You've replaced him with the wolf. Terrible. He loves you so much. All right, Troy.
We still play fetch sometimes.
Yeah, for old time's sake.
My name is Troy Spencer. I have a channel called DMT Tabletop Gaming. Today I am playing the recurring character of Frey Soren, otherwise known as Sori, and she is a 5th level female rogue assassin.
Perfect. Chris?
Christopher Carasella. I am playing Alessandra, the healer.
Healer. All right, and Marquise.
Hey everyone, I'm the bold, the beautiful, stereotypical Strider, also known as Marquise, and I'm playing the new character Bloodsong today.
Alrighty. So, as I said, you guys are now in the castle. You've talked to Conchobor, had a bit of a rest, and he has been suggesting pretty strongly that you go and clean the place up. What's the situation?
Is there what's the inside of this place look like again? Is there a second floor?
Oh yeah. So you've come into this enormous entrance hall. So it was built by giants, for giants, and it was built to be impressive to them. So the ceiling is hundreds of feet up. It's this kind of cavernous, sort of echoing entry hall, and just inside there, Conchobor has built himself a little room inside the room where he's got some giant furniture and stuff like that, like a bed and a wardrobe and a chair. But other than that, it's pretty empty. And then in the wings, I guess, right and left, there are stairs going up, and at the end, there are stairs going down.
Okay, is there like a balcony or anything like that in this large room?
In this room, no, you probably have to go up.
Okay. Well, what I have done is I have tied a rope to a wall, and I'm hanging from it upside down. And I'm looking over at Vidar, and I say to Vidar, "All right, Vidar, take this spear and stab me, just like Odin was stabbed," as blood's coming out of my nose.
You want me to stab you with a spear?
Yeah, stab me. And I'm kind of swinging back and forth like a pendulum, and I bark out, "They say that Odin had to go to the land of the dead to get the ruins. So I'm gonna have to teeter on that line too. Do it, stab me, just don't kill me."
Stab him. What are you waiting for? Just stab him.
Well, as long as I have a witness that you asked for this, and I suppose this will make us earlier for before with the Thane. So he'll grab one of his javelins and aim for one of the less vital meteor spots.
All right, he stabs you. Splat.
Ugh! I kind of like look down at the floor as I'm swinging back and forth, and my vision starts to go out a bit, and I see all the blood dropping, blood rushing to my head. And as I'm like passing out, everything turns hazy, and down in the haze, I see a runic symbol appear. Ugh. I reach down for it, swinging back and forth. There's a whole bunch of them all over the ground. I managed to grab one of them as I snap back to conscious, and I put my hand over the wound. Ah, you son of a bitch! You almost killed me!
Almost. And then I give him a knock on the head and walk away.
The rope starts spinning, and I pull a little knife out of my boot, and I try to like clip at the rope that's tied to my feet a couple times, missing, and then finally connect with it. Bam! Smack the rock.
The giant is sitting there, and he's kind of bemused by the whole thing. Very odd behavior. What was the purpose of that?
I open up my hand, and there's nothing in it, and my eyes just kind of glaze over. I saw something. It was a symbol of power.
Unlikely story. You are not inspiring me with faith for your endeavors to clear this place of the evil that rests here by swinging upside down and stabbing yourselves.
As he's kind of scolding us, I'm saying gibberish words. Jibba. Jobe. That's it. Jobe.
Alessandra stands up, and I apologize for our friend here. He's odd, but he's good at what he does, and he's faithful to his God, that's for sure. Now, you said something about undead.
I did. The dead. They don't stay dead here. No matter how many times I seem to kill them, they always come back. Something, someone below is encouraging them to get back up. I don't fully understand it, but deep below.
Are you able to destroy them when they're undead?
Yes, I destroy them and I throw their bones below, and then they return. Nothing gets out. I can't let anything out, so I have to keep returning their bones to where they came from.
She looks at Rangvald and shakes her head as the blood just drips to the floor around him. And I suppose he's still muttering words.
I just smile at you and I say, Jorgamald!
Are you gonna be up for this?
You should remember too, like my blood's probably really thin. I'm piss ass drunk. Like we've been drinking with the giant for quite a while. I'm like fucking stumbling around. Am I ready for this? I could do anything.
The giant like pats you on the back, Reinvald. His hand like the size of your torso. I think you will do well. You certainly have an alarming amount of faith.
You see a hand strike an open palm. Jaskier! And I yell it. But nothing happens still.
If only he had the sense to go along with that faith, we would be well done.
What are you waiting for? I've been waiting here thousands of years. I'm not keen to wait any longer. You said you would clear this place.
My nursemaid have told me stories of undead Drager. Is that what we should hope to expect as we go forward?
Immediately below here, you will smell a charnel stink. There are creatures that reside there that are Maleficarum. Creatures from other worlds. Do not deal with them. They will tempt you. They are dangerous. And below that is where the dead do not rest.
So of the three passages out of this main chamber, going down will lead us to our first foes.
Yes.
I'm going to throw a cloth to Rangvold and tell him to clean himself up, for the smell of blood may bring unwanted attacks upon us before we're ready. We should be the ones controlling the battlefield, not the reverse of that.
I drunkenly grab it from the air, hold it up to my face, and smell it. A favor from my woman. I go ahead and shove it into the wounds, though I'm not really trying to stop the wound from bleeding. I'm just covering it up. I'm gonna have to let this fester a bit. I wasn't close enough. I need to get closer to death. Come on, guys, let's go. Let's go get closer to death. And I start stumbling around, heading like in a semicircle around the room, looking for the way.
Right. So Sori is totally losing faith upon her friend with every passing day. She's keeping a close eye on him at all times at this point. She has zero trust to the one individual that she trusted at the beginning of this endeavor. It's long gone.
So
She'll take the lead as well and start heading towards the staircase down.
So Randall's like walking around in circles. The giant like picks you up and turns you in the direction you're supposed to go, and then kind of shoves you.
I take these large, exaggerated footsteps, like I'm on some forsaken beach, pacing out the way to a treasure.
I wish you glory, fortune, you odd creatures.
I just throw up a hand, a token favor for my friend.
All right. So you walk to the end of this corridor, and before you is a staircase descending down, and going down these stairs. Almost immediately, like a smell assaults you, and it's like of meat, blood, sort of coppery taste in the air. And as you go down these stairs, you're going down a couple of minutes. You start to see runes on the wall, and the runes are like unpleasant to look at. Just whatever the meaning is hurts your eyes. When you look away, you feel a little bit better, but they're made of blood, and the blood is coming out of the wall, so it's like pouring down the wall. The stairs are huge. It's probably about 30 feet across as you're walking down.
All right, so what you guys see is you see Sori's out in front, a few 10 yards or so, and then all of a sudden you see her suddenly stop abruptly, and she's staring at these runes that are bleeding the blood. But what you don't see is you see in Sori's mind's eye, she's thinking back to the day that her parents were killed at her small farm that was outside of the realm of one of the large holds. So Sori, as a child, with her blonde hair at that time, is ushered into the back room by her mother, having already seen her father slain by the Keldoffer as they came in to raid the small town where, not a town rather, just a small collection of farms where she and her extended family lived. So her mother rushes Sori off and hides her under the bed as the elves crash into the home. And as the mother lays against the side of the bed with Sori underneath it, the large Keldoffer comes into the room and picks her up and throws her on the bed, slams down with a spear, and the hay that they had normally been sleeping on gets soaked with blood. Sori, lying underneath, hearing the screams of her mother, feels the blood drip through the hay, slowly seeping, filtering through, dripping down, looking much like she sees from these runes. So you see Sori now, and she flashes out of it, and she's in this like catatonic state as she watches this blood dripping down the wall. she's certainly not playing the role of the sentinel or the scout at this point. She's kind of out of it.
There's no real noise coming from down below, but you can when you're walking in these stairs, you have to like almost climb down because there's probably like a 6-foot step for each stair. So it's tough going until you're getting down. It'll be even harder getting back up. But yeah, as you descend, you do hear labored breathing from the bottom.
Before we get down there, as we're traveling down, Alessandra wants to cast a spell on everybody. She's going to bless everybody as she's walking down. She's not even going to tell anybody. You just feel this kind of a warmth tingle your skin, gives you goosebumps for a split second. Feel energetic-ish. So you guys are blessed.
So with that feeling, that new sensation, Sori is fully snapped back out of that little dream state that she was in, and she's back to being alert and attentive. And she's going to actively be checking for the walls and the flagstones and the stones underfoot to make sure that there's no traps, being that this is such an ancient place. There might be something still active. So I'm going to be using my perception skill.
You don't see anything that would even approach anything like a trap. The flagstones are enormous, the stones that the steps are made of, and there's no sort of mechanisms or anything around. The only thing that's disconcerting are these runes that you see.
And they're arcane in nature.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so I just relay that information that mechanically and structurally the place seems safe, but I'm unsure of these runic symbols. It's outside of my realm of expertise.
Now, I'm gonna be fair about this, Lloyd, but in my drunken haze, do one of those arcane symbols look like the rune that I think I saw when I was dangling upside down?
Yeah.
So
I think they look similar enough that you could confuse them for sure.
So as I see it glowing, I kind of start walking forward to it with my hand out. Gargasil, Yargarl, and I reach out and touch it.
All right, so the word karakach blasts in your head, and you are thrown back from the rune, like all the way across to the other wall. You hit the other wall with quite a force, and are knocked down to the ground. And as soon as you touch it, you get this vision of this like hulking, red-skinned thing, like just musculature and blood pouring from it, and it just like opens this distended sort of mouth in your direction, and snaps it shut, and then you're blown across the corridor.
Okay, so you see like these cold stairs, there's this like dust rising off of them. I get thrown, the camera dramatically pans into my face, and you see me instantly turn sober, and my eyes go wide, and I say, Maleficarum!
Alright, so you continue down the stairs, and you get to a room, and in said room,
Alright, so as you guys entered the room, the labored breathing you were hearing earlier turned into this great war, this roar sound, and you guys see towering before you, you're looking at its back, this great hulking mound of gray flesh. You see pustules and cuts and bones sticking out of it. Nasty, disgusting smell comes from its body, this filthy odor. And it turns around, and you see its eyes are completely hollow. There's this great gash across its stomach. And it's trying to keep something in, but clearly it's failing as you see its intestines come and just plop into the ground, and like a nest of black slimy eels just kind of forming at its feet. And it kind of stumbles a bit before it collapses face forward into the ground with this great last as it hits the solid earth. And behind it, you know, kind of extending this little cloud of dust is a figure. And for a second, you might mistake him for a snow elf, because his hair and his skin is completely white. But as he takes a step forward and he looks up at all of you, you see his eyes are red, and you realize that this man is no snow elf. He's actually an albino, which is highlighted by the black leathers and the black coat he wears. He looks at all of you, and then he looks down to this great body, and he looks back to you guys, and he says almost nonchalantly, "Hail, good strangers! The giant let you in as well?"
Well,
Would they?
oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
At the initial sight of this large creature, Vidar brings up his axe, charging forward, kind of skidding to a halt as the thing falls and splashes gore all over his boots as he looks down to this figure before him. "Who are you?"
Oh, I am the magnificent, the bold, the beautiful, amazing Blood Song. This is my instrument, Heartbeat. And he takes back his coat, and you see an empty scabbard on his side. And he says, "Now, my giant friend with the bloody boots, who may you be?"
Vidar looks down at him a moment, a slight narrowing of his eyes. "I'm Vidar, and you have many names for someone so small."
Well, my mother always told me, as long as you're big inside, you're big outside. Not always true, as the ladies will say, but I don't really count what they say anymore.
"I think you will probably get along well with Rangvald," and then he'll step around the figure, checking out the rest of the room.
Now, Reinvald is just watching Sori, studying her eyes, because this visage looks so snow elf at first. I'm trying to see if it got a rise out of him.
Most definitely. She has hands on hilt and ready to lunge forward. The only thing staying her blade at this point is the jovial nature of Blood Song. So I don't know if you want to, how you want to determine if she would be confused that he might very much be a Cadelph or not. Because if she's fooled by his appearance, she will definitely lash out and attack.
I wouldn't think it's like you'd recognize an
outside
elf.
of the skin color and the pale hair itself. The rest of the features are not striking.
Yeah, and there's a presence as well with Alfred that you would kind of feel, you know.
All right, so Rangvald, what you would have seen Sori just reach for her blades initially as the large figure fell and the albino individual became apparent. But as he began to speak and exchange with Vidar, you seen the tension in her shoulders and her muscles lose the taut tension, and she kind of just relaxes and goes back to her natural stance. And like Vidar, starts scanning the room to see if there's anything else in the room.
So Reinvald's tongue kind of comes up and touches the base of his front two teeth, and you can feel his lip, and it's really salty. Kind of like shifts it around. Does that sound like an old-timer makes when he's angry, like bringing spittle into the side of his cheek before he spits? I turn and I walk forward towards this man, this Bloodsong fella, and I look him up and down. I shake my head a bit, and I throw out my hand, and I say, "Ha ha ha ha! Well met, Bloodsong. Join our motley crew."
"Ha ha ha! Well met indeed!" And I slap your hand and I grab it and I say, "What might be your name, my wounded fellow?"
They call me Reinvald.
Ah, Reinvald. And my friend Reinvald, and I put a hand on your shoulder, and my face gets really serious, and I say, "Who is she?" And I look straight at Sori, and my eyes narrow.
my eyes narrow looking at you, and I say, "A lot of trouble."
My mother always said trouble was the best.
At the mention of she, you see Sori look over her shoulder back at you, and she starts approaching you confidently but quietly, one foot in front of the other very slowly. And as she approaches, she's not looking at you at this point. She's kind of trying to kick over the wounded creature that you had slain upon our arrival. And she's looking at the wound and looking at you and not seeing a weapon. Is that correct at this time?
Yeah.
So she's trying to figure out the situation, the combat that had occurred earlier. She's like, "You don't seem to be wielding a weapon, friend. what caused this gash. And she looks at the open wound along the creature that you had slain.
So as you look at the dead demon, it kind of does this like exaggerated sped up version of decomposing, where it decomposes in a matter of moments. So instead of taking, whatever, weeks or months in such a dry atmosphere, it just, suddenly there's maggots, and then suddenly there's bone, and then even the bone turns to dust, all in the matter of 10 seconds or so.
So Sori takes a quick, abrupt step back. He says, "What is this? What is the nature of this foul creature?"
Did you not read the runes on the wall? It's clearly a demon, lass.
A demon?
Clearly. Yes, a demon. No horns, laser beams, magic, sorcery, horrible, horrible things. But that's neither here nor there. Literally, what's here right now is you, my beautiful lady. And what may your name be?
You may call me Sori.
Sorry. That were 2 R's and 1 R.
That would be 2.
So it's like sorry, so why do you pronounce it sorry?
Enough about me. You will tell us more about these demons. What do you know of them? Obviously, you know how to slay them. Are there more?
Yeah, there's more. Did any of you read the runes? The runes were clear marking a territory for the powerful demon in here. I am here to slay the demon. Glory, honor, winches everywhere. And he looks at you when he says the winches part. Demons. Yeah.
I studied one of the runes. It was interesting.
Yeah, studied. You not just read. I mean, it's like reading a normal book. It's pretty easy.
I felt the energy. I crossed over, so to speak.
Oh, did you touch it?
I kind of look around at Vidar and sorry. Well, in a manner of speaking, and I hold up my hand, which is smoldering and broken.
I take your hand and I look at it and I say, "Don't touch it." And I poke your hand really aggressively so it might hurt. And I say, "If you touch it, this happens." I start smacking your hand like this. I'm like, "It must hurt a lot, so you got to be careful not to touch it." All right?
I'm biting my lip the entire time. My knee starts to buckle a bit as you're just throwing the hand around, smacking it. I just turn to Vidar and I say, "Vidar, I need some of that alcohol."
And I turn to the... Oh, go ahead, Vidar.
I think that you've had enough, at least for the next few days.
I just hold my hand up then, disgusted that I've been cut off by my barkeep, and just breathe on it. That's how alcoholic my breath is. I sterilize it by breathing on it.
And I turn to the last person I haven't introduced myself, and I walk up to her, and I give this really deep bow. Like, it's so exaggerated, you think my head almost touches the ground. And I stand up and say, "Who might you be, fair, beautiful lady?"
She looks at you with cold blue eyes, and a slight smile appears on the side of her mouth, and she just whispers, "Alessandra."
Alessandra. May I tell you, dear Alessandra, your eyes are more clear than the greatest glaciers this land has ever known. Your smile more heart-wrenching than the greatest demons. I was going to go further, but I forgot the punchline of this. So, and then he just kind of turns around and he walks away. And he goes back to Reinwald and he says, "So then, are you guys going to go with me to go slay the demons, or are we going to stand here and chit-chat all day?"
After Bloodsong finishes speaking and starts moving away from Alessandra, Vidar adds, "And a touch more deadly than 1,000 men."
I feel like when Bloodsong is looking at Alessandra, giving her all those compliments, there's a light flute playing in the background, and it's slowly fanning in on her as all of the men are just watching. I like to think Sori's throwing a rock sitting in the back, with a scowl on her face.
Or flipping a dagger back and forth.
Yeah.
He's got eyes for Sori. You don't want Alessandra.
There's a slight breeze as Alessandra's hair flows in the wind.
So with Bloodsong coming back, I'll say the giant told us to clear it out. I hit my hand really hard and I go, let's clear it out.
Indeed, and I grab you by your mottled hand and shake it really hard as I start walking away.
My head's just turning. You can hear my neck crack. It's so stiff. So I'm trying to endure the pain.
Vidar walks up, giving Rangval the light slap on the back. Come on, let's get this taken care of, and then we get some more drink in you.
Sounds good. And I look at Vidar for 1 second. Our eyes connect. Veruga.
All right, so from this room, there's only one way. Well, there's two. Back up the stairs, or a short corridor that leads to another room.
Well, we should continue on forward. I'm gonna go ahead again.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's shadowed, I'm obviously gonna try to stay out of sight. And again, 10 yards or so in front of the rest of the group is my goal. I don't know if they're gonna close that gap or not.
Sure. So,
Go ahead.
so the the rooms in here are huge, like the rest of the castle. It's built for giants, so your average giant is like 30 feet tall. And so the rooms are all cavernous and echoey and huge. There's not really much in the way of light down here. Like there's kind of a weird greeny sort of glow in some of the room, or in the room that you're in right now. But you'll need to light torches or something, otherwise you won't be able to see in the dark.
As we would enter the room, no one else I don't think could really see that well, but the whites of my eyes would go black as the thing inside of me just kind of gives me vision through all types of darkness, and I just start looking and scanning the room for threats or anything like that.
So you can see, Bloodsong, that ahead of you there's a room probably about 100 feet long, 50 feet wide, and about 30 feet from where you are, there's a sort of chasm, like a rip in the ground, and it stretches for about 50 feet across, and there's a bridge, but the bridge is not made of wood or stone, it's made of people, by humans that have been sewn together, and they are stretched across this thing, and you can see that there are hundreds of hands and arms holding on to the side that's closest to you. You can't see the other side. But they're all holding on, and that's what the bridge is. It's some sort of weird, horrible contraption made of people.
So I raise my hand, hoping everyone else can see it, and I say, "Hail, comrades! There's something evil ahead." And I kind of move past Sorry, and I go up to the bridge, and I don't step onto it, but I just kick it and see what happens.
There's a moan.
What was that?
So we hear that, and we're like, what's going on up there? Speak to us, newcomer.
Well, there is a bridge that goes over this great chasm, but it's a bridge that's, I think, made of people, and I kind of squint my eyes and look at it, and I kick it again, and I hear another moan. I'm like, yeah, made of people. Corpses, maybe, or spirits, I can't tell.
At this, Alessandra's made of people, you say, and she rushes past Sori, also running up to Bloodsong's side to observe this bridge that he speaks of.
So we're talking pitch black here, besides the fluorescence of this moss-like materials that are on some of the walls.
So the room you're in now is totally black, yeah.
Yeah, so Sori's going to pull out a torch, and she's going to light it, and she's just going to approach slowly, and she's going to be looking as well into the air and to see if there's anything else about as well.
So Bloodsong, you notice first, and then eventually the rest of you see like a figure coming across the bridge, and it looks like it's a person dressed in robes, and the hood covers a face. The arms are within the robes. You can see no skin of any kind, and it gets pretty much right to the edge where you're standing, and it says, "You wish to cross."
Do you wish to stop us if we wish to cross?
No, only death will find you within these walls. This is no place for mortals.
You will find that some of us here may not quite be mortals, my friend. And I kind of hop up and I stand like on the same level as him. And I look him up and down. And I say, Who might you be?
Who or what I am is unimportant. I am a doorman, guardian. Turn back. The castle is lost. There is nothing for you here.
Do any of you agree?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
I'm sorry. I said I turned around and said, do any of you agree?
I agree that he should move and let us pass if he knows what is good for him.
Your threats do not frighten me, half-breed. I do not intend to stop you, simply to inform you.
I come walking out around the side, glowing with a holy aura, and I look at this abomination standing on the bridge made out of people, and I say, I aim to destroy you. And I say it so it kind of like echoes out creepily over the bridge.
I cannot be destroyed. You are nothing. You are flesh, and flesh is weak. You think that you can stand before a true Maleficar? You think you would last more than a heartbeat?
Well, if I can't kill you, maybe I could turn you into a chair or something. You seem to like to turn organic stuff into furniture.
I did not create this bridge. That is the work, well, of a different thing.
You should not underestimate my friend. He stood in front of a thane.
You are flesh. Flesh is weak.
What is this thing you speak of that made this bridge?
It has a name that I will not utter here. I do not want to draw its attention.
I do. What's his name? I'll say it.
I will not impart this knowledge to you. It is dangerous, beyond what you understand.
Is there anything you can help us with? Any kind of sneak peek into what we're about to see?
I'm trying to help you by telling you to go away. If you enter here, you risk a lot. You risk your life, you risk your sanity, you risk your soul.
And if we cross in and return, who knows what secrets we'll take with us? What treasures we'll plunder from idiots and fools like you?
Very well. It seems you are determined to cross the bridge. If you so wish, your gods will protect you, I'm sure.
Oh, it's a challenge of faith. Well, I just start to walk right across.
I walk with him.
So you walk right through this guy. He's mostly shadow, and you just are able to walk through him. And the bridge moans and groans and screams as you walk across. And occasionally a hand will like reach out and grab your ankle. You can kick it off eventually, but it's pretty unpleasant. The bridge goes on for quite some time. And it's slow going. It's definitely not steady, so you have to do a lot of balancing.
As we're walking across, I say to Ragvald, how do we know the creature that we just passed was not one of the things we were sent here to destroy? We just let it escape. It's not present currently, DM?
No, it's not.
Reinveld just kind of shrugs, thinking to himself, there'll be enough killing.
We've been tasked to clear the place. No survivors. Is that correct?
I plan on burning everything.
And Miss Sorry.
Cleansing fire.
It can't get out through the front door because of the great Jotun there, and so if we kill everything else and we have to kill it too, we just kill it later. I see no issue here.
You are the master. You are the one with the knowledge of things to come. Why don't you take the lead? You obviously can see things as before we do. And I'm going to snuff out the torch after we're across the bridge. and I'm just gonna try and use my senses as best I can to stay within like a 5-foot radius of Blood Song,
Okay.
but embracing the dark.
Vidar will heft his great axe over one shoulder and and sink his fingers into the fur of the Thunderwolf and use that to guide him along.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab the Thunderwolf too.
So Bloodsong, you're definitely leading because you can see where you're going. You get to the other side of this bridge, and in front of you there are two doors. One near, like, they both go the same direction, front ways basically, but one's on the left and one's on the right. Totally
Right.
unmarked. There's no sort of like markings or anything on this side.
Alright. I stop and I say, Reinwald, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
1 or 2?
One. There can be only one. I shouted at the top of my lungs.
As
He
you
can,
shout.
he can only count to 1. You hear Sori say with a snicker.
It's
And
every finger on his hand is one.
And as he says that, I let out this hearty laugh, and I go to the left door, and I look it up and down, and I don't go through it. I just kick it once and see if anything happens.
No, it's actually quite heavy wood, and the door is quite large. But as you kick it, it's sort of a little bit of a creak.
All right. Anyone close to me would kind of feel this heat pressing against him, originating from the scabbard on my right hip. But I don't really reach or grab or draw anything, and I just reach out and I try my best to just push open this great door before me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so with a bit of force, it'll open up and it'll swing. This long, sort of droning creak. And before you, there is a square room. Within this square room, there is a smaller glowing square, probably about a 20-foot square, inside of which is like a nightmare made flesh. It is this hideous, bloody, like soaked in blood creature, pure muscle. It's got this vaguely sort of goat face, huge teeth, and it's kind of standing like a gorilla would, on its knuckles, and it's just breathing really quickly. And around it, on all sides, is treasure like you wouldn't believe. Just piles of gold and incredible weapons and scrolls and all sorts of incredible stuff that you've never even seen before. Platinum and diamonds and jewels, like crazy. And as the door swings open, it says, "Mortals, help me escape. The witch thing that controls this castle has imprisoned me. I wish for vengeance."
I turn around and look at Reinwald and I say, "You can see this, right?"
The glow in the square is enough for me to see, isn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm just looking at it and I go, I don't know what in the fuck that thing is.
We're gonna kill it. It doesn't matter what it is. It wants us to let us out. Listen, I know a thing about making deals with demons and everything. Don't do it. Just kill him. A lot easier. And I turn around and I point to it and I say, "Is anyone else gonna help me kill it, or is it just gonna be me and my man Reinwald right here?"
I can hear you, mortals.
So I'll pull my spear. I just pull my spear and yell, "Abomination!" and I'll run at it.
As Rangval starts sprinting past myself and Bloodsong, I immediately do a half roll and flank to the side, to the square room, drawing my my bow.
So you get to this square around it, and you just thong against some sort of invisible barrier that is holding it there, and it laughs. Idiots! Do you not think that I would be gone? Do you not think I would tear your hearts out for speaking to me like that? If I wasn't stuck here. I need your help to get out.
Tell us, how can we free you so that way we may properly kill you?
I cannot be killed. There are runes on the ground, wards of protection. If even one of them is removed, the square holding me will be gone, and all this treasure will be yours, and I will be free to go and take care of this witch thing that put me here.
Now, we're obviously haven't come across any witch thing, so he's referencing something from millennia ago.
Yeah, you're not
Potentially.
sure.
As he's speaking, I'm going to try to discern if he is deceiving us or not. If that's possible. I'm going to attempt to discern if he's deceiving us, if that's possible.
Yep, sure, go for it.
Oof. 10.
It's hard to know. I guess if it was a person, it would be easier to read, but something like this you've never seen before, it's hard to get a gauge on what it would be like if it's lying or telling the truth.
Vidar, you block the door. This thing might try to run. Again, I have no fucking clue about demons or what their abilities are, so I'm just thinking in the physical sense. So, logically, to get the biggest person to block the door.
Vidar, you do think that its intention to hurt this witch thing is genuine, but that's as far as you can tell. Its intention to hurt anything really is genuine.
Yeah. So if we release you and let you be on your way, you will also give us your word that you will not seek us out afterwards. Once you kill this witch, then you be on your way, and that be the end of it.
Yes. I have no quarrel with you.
Cow shit. Look, Vidar, you can't actually believe that this demon is going to keep its word. It's a demon. A demon!
We let him kill the witch, and then we kill him.
You think it's going to kill the witch that put him in here? The witch is probably going to tear this motherfucker to pieces. How about we just tear it to pieces now?
I
look
agree
up
with
at the demon.
Bloodsong.
Will the witch tear you to pieces, or will you be able to handle your own, says Alessandra to him.
You question my valor.
Yes, you're sealed in here. Of course we question it.
Sorcery sealed me in here.
And I'm pretty sure sorcery will put you back in here when we let you go, too.
Now, Reinvald's somewhat of a junior study of rune magic. He is looking around on the ground at the runes. I want to do an Arcana check to see the nature of how the confinement field works.
Sure.
Specifically, I want to see if I move the runes in closer, if it'll tighten the confinement field on him.
Okay.
And are the runes like in the language I can read or no?
It's just it's a symbol that you recognize. It's a really common symbol. It's like a sideways diamond with a line through the middle, kind of like an eye.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so Randall has no idea. But yeah, it's kind of like an eye, and this is a common symbol. Like even like people who live in Isklof would know. They would like put it on their doors just as a sort of general good luck, sort of keep things out symbol. But these are obviously infused with some sort of actual sorcery that they work. Randall, do you think if you move them closer, it'll probably shorten and bring the cage closer to him?
Okay, so that's what I'm thinking with that roll. So as I'm walking around looking at the runes, I look up with this look of sheer amusement in my eyes, and I say, "This is paradise. Let's give him a real prison." And I walk over and take out a knife and start trying to pry up one of the runes.
Well, if your stupidity is going to let it out faster, then let it be done. And I turn and I throw back my coat, and you see this black hilt jutting out from the scabbard, and I grab it, and I wait for the demon to be free.
So yeah, you manage to pry out one of the runes, and immediately the field sizzles and stops, and the light goes out, and you just hear initiative.
Rangval, you idiot!
We
Your
got him right where
idiocy.
we want him.
Vidar does not say anything as he's beyond being surprised by Vidar's actions.
I got a 22.
For the people at home, my Arcana is a -1, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Randall, what's your initiative?
13.
2.
2. Wow. Vidar?
18.
And Bloodsong?
16.
Alright, so sorry, it is your turn. You can see absolutely nothing.
So after the rune was removed,
The field
light,
went out, and that was the light source, yeah.
so complete darkness at this point with her bow in hand. You hear Sori off to the side because she had went flanking into the room, cursing at Rangvald as she skitters through her pouches and backpack to try and find another torch. And it lights up, and you see her face, and she's just snarling. You can just see her fuming with anger as Rangvald has done this to them once again, put them in this terrible, terrible position. So I light a torch, and I throw it in the general direction where the demon was to try to illuminate the immediate area. And if I still have action remaining, I'm going to then attempt to shoot an arrow at it.
No, I think lighting and throwing the torches is a whole thing.
Alright, so yeah, that's what I do then. I just light the torch and
Sure.
I throw it into the room, and then I'm going to do semicircle flanking the room to move to the opposite side as best I can.
Okay.
And you're saying this thing is packed with treasures and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so if there's a mound of treasure, I'm going to use a bonus action, if you will allow, and try to, as best I can, like kind of duck down behind some object that can
Sure.
obscure my presence.
No problem. Okie doke, Vidar. So this torch has been thrown, it kind of lands and skitters amongst the golden coins, and lands close enough to this thing, and you can see like the glistening wetness of the blood on it.
So how far away is it?
You can get to it.
Okay, so yeah, I'm basically going to charge, roaring out as I lift my axe up, and then as I close, take a mighty swing. Okay, so 10.
No, it's gonna miss.
Okay, so as I charge forward and swing, missing, throwing my weight forward, I'm going to spin around and take another swing with my extra attack. Basically, not looking very pretty, just using his strength to overpower his momentum and the swinging of the axe to bring it to bear on the creature. So that's better, that's 23.
Yep.
$14 points.
Okay, nice. So you slap into this thing, it lets out a sort of noise. Bloodsong.
So Bloodsong is sitting before this thing, and when the torch goes up, you guys would see him slowly drawing this great sword that's fastened to his right hip, and the crossguard is just like a black iron bar, and the entire blade itself is pitch black. But with every inch he draws out, the edges of it begin to go red, and you hear this boom boom, boom boom sound originating from the sword as it frees itself from the scabbard. And he swings it to the air once, and then him as light as a feather, he tosses it up. He catches it, and then he explodes into motion all at once. Next thing the demon would know is he's literally just above it, his sword coming down once and then flipping around in the same instant and coming down again in 2 vicious attacks. And that is going to be a 19, so a 20, a natural, and a 7.
Okay, 20 hits.
All right. And that's going to be boom, boom, boom. It's going to be 12 points of damage.
Okie doke. All right, yeah. So you slash into the back of this thing. All right, it goes next. And as you hit it, actually, it kind of laughs, raises a hand, and you're gonna need to make a dex save as it tries to rebuke you hellishly.
I got a 2.
Alrighty. So 6 points fire damage as fire just erupts from underneath you.
And Bloodstorm doesn't scream or anything when this fire hits him. If anything, he's actually laughing at the actual sport of fighting this thing.
So the demon just starts to swing its huge muscly arms with like wild abandon, just this maelstrom of swinging claws, and it's going to make attacks against Vidar and Bloodsong because they're right next to it. So 2 attacks apiece. These 2 are for Vidar. Oh god, that's bad news, Vidar. It's really bad news. That's a lot. So what's that? 25, 35 points in total. So this thing just like swings its 2 claws and starts slashing, tearing big gouges into you. And that's like in a heartbeat, just, and then immediately turns around to Bloodsong and strikes at him as well. Not so good. What is your AC, Bloodsong?
13 because of mage armor.
Okay, well then it's actually 2 hits. Oh man, nailing it with these dice. So that is 17 plus 10, 27? 27. Yeah. Unleash a demon. What the hell, guys? What's the plan here? Like,
Bloodsong is it does not look very good. There's great gashes in his armor and his clothing is bleeding everywhere.
so this thing is like after it slashes the 2 of you, it like lifts one of these huge claws and just like tasty morsels. Reinvold, it's your turn.
Alrighty. I am going to cast Lay of Hands on Bloodsong and heal him for 25 HP.
Nice.
So you see me lift out and I throw blood from my wound on him, and as it hits his body, it turns into a cloak of black feathers and then whirls up around him like a tornado, and you see it patching all of his wounds together.
Perfect. Alessandra.
Alessandra will, seeing her companions badly wounded from this demon, she will rush forward to Rainbow, reaching out and touching him. You feel this ease and your wounds begin to heal as I cure your wounds, and you get.
Are you healing me, Chris, or Vidar?
I was healing you. You took the damage, right?
Vidar did.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I'm sorry. I would walk up to Vidar then
Sure.
and heal Vidar. My apologies. She's looking at this giant, and she heals him for 14 points.
Nice.
And then, as a bonus action, I will cast Spiritual Weapon.
Cool. Yep, no problem.
So you see this gnarly morning star kind of like lingering above the head of this demon. I don't know if I can attack with it this round or not.
I think it's like a bonus action to summon and then a bonus action to attack every round, isn't it?
All right, yeah. So it's just sitting up there lingering. You guys have never seen this before, so you don't really know what the fuck's going on.
Sorry, your turn again.
All right, I haven't seen my beefy companion Vidar just get eviscerated by this thing, I quickly realize that I don't want to be in close range of this beast. So you see me continue my circle around him to the backside. So the 3 companions or 4 individuals are in front of him. So I'm on the back side of him, so I can get a free shot with my bow. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna loose an arrow into the back of this creature.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be a 18 to hit.
Yep, that'll hit.
Alright, so 46. And 16 points of damage, piercing damage.
Ooh.
Now that arrow was also poison, but I don't know that it probably doesn't have any effect. I'm hoping it does.
It does not, no. Okay.
And with my bonus action, I am again going to attempt to stealthily hide.
Okie doke. Vidar.
So having closed on the creature, his axe striking true on his second attempt, in a brief second, the creature strikes out with its claws, digging deep into his flesh, almost doubling the giant over as he skids back from the might of the blow. He brings his axe up, smashing it down on the floor, stopping his momentum as he's almost dropped to a knee. He feels a light touch on his back as he begins to rise, some of the wounds closing so you can't quite see the gleaming white of the bone of his ribs anymore. And he roars out as he lets the rage claim him and charges forward towards the beast. For the first attack, let's see, rage. Oh,
Oh, wow.
that's bad.
Yeah. Alright, so the first attack totally misses and is going to smash into the goal in the ground, and it's going to bounce badly. You're going to lose grip of your axe.
Okay. So well, I'm just going to try to grapple this thing.
Alright.
So
So
the
is that
size of this thing is comparable to the hound, and he's 12, 14 feet tall.
Yeah, it's a little bit bigger, but it's large, so.
Okay, I just want to know for 3/4 purposes for the ranged abilities.
So athletics off, is that how it works? Yeah.
I just need to check something.
Yes, sir. It's 2 athletics opposing.
Yeah, you have
Would I
advantage
get-
of athletics when you're ranging.
Yeah, that's what I was just double checking.
Oh my god.
20. I got a natural 20.
So did I. All right. Okay, you win. I don't even know. You win for that. So.
Awesome. Yeah. So he charges forward in his rage, bellowing out a primal roar and challenge to this creature as he swings his axe, losing his grip as it strikes the ground, flinging it from his hand. He just continues forward with his charge, driving his shoulder into the creature as he wraps his arms around it, squeezing with all of his strength.
Awesome. All right. Bloodsong, you are next.
So his blood song is seeing this. He's surrounded by this great, beautiful tornado of feathers, and he's just laughing the entire time. And in his hand, heartbeat is beating loud, ba-boom, ba-dum, ba-dum. And as this great thing is grappled and knocked to the ground, I pull my sword back, and as I do, the blood from my wounds begins to coalesce above it and form a second, like a mirror image of the great sword. And I stab with both of them at once. I make 2 attacks towards it. Holy shit, I'm on ass tonight. That is a 11 and a 21.
Okay, 21 hits.
Wait, do I have advantage because it's grappled?
I don't know. Yeah.
All right. Wow, I rolled worse on that one, so. Alright, that's gonna be 9. No, sorry, 9, 3. Yeah, it's gonna be 14 points of damage.
Okay, nice. So heartbeat through slices into this thing. The demon is going to try and get out of its goddamn grapple. Does it? Wait, it can still attack and stuff, right? It just can't move.
No, it can't attack. It has to break out.
Okay. Well, then it'll try and break it. Not good.
So yeah, that's a 12, and then with his strength.
Are you sure? I thought you just couldn't move when you grappled. Although grappling has always been a pain in the arse, but
I think pinning is what makes it so you can't attack.
okay.
But I could
Grapple,
be wrong.
Let's see, trying to see.
I think the state grapple just means that your speed drops to 0.
No, you're right. I just read it. The speed drops to 0. It ends if the grappler is incapacitated, and the condition also ends if it does like Thunder Wave or some bullshit like that.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Alright.
pinning is something you can do like once you have them grappled.
Yeah.
They can do the check again, kind of thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, in that case, then it'll just start swinging around. It's gonna swing at Vidar because he's holding it. So let's go 2 attacks against Vidar. Bam! Oh, it's 2 hits. Man, damn dice though. All right. So that's 17 to Vidar. I guess half because you're raging.
Yep. Immune to everything but psychic.
Yeah. He's not doing psychic damage with his claws.
So that would
And
be-
then it's going to be Bloodsong again. 2 on you. You said your AC is 13, right?
Yes, sir.
That's going to be 2 more hits. All right, 18 points of damage. This time as the claws slash into you again. This thing is like snarling and howling. It seems to be totally chaotic in the way it fights. Okay, Reinvald.
Seeing Bloodsong taking more of a beating than Vidar, I'm going to yell out once again to Odin and say, "Into wisdom I command thee!" And I throw more of my blood, using up my precious resource onto Bloodsong, and I'm going to cast Cure Wounds as a level 2 spell. So you will gain 11 HP from that Bloodsong.
Very nice. All right, Alessandra.
Oh, also, Lloyd, I'm going to move. I forgot to say, I'm going to move up to Bloodsong's side
Mhm.
and stand next to him.
All right.
Yeah, you're good.
All right. Alessandra's adrenaline is pumping as she sees everything unfolding before her, the massive amounts of damage this thing's doing. Looking at Vidar, what do you look like, Vidar? How badly wounded are you at this point? I can look at you and guesstimate. How are you bleeding everywhere? Are you?
Yeah, he's pretty bloodied. The 2 first strikes were really hefty, and until that small amount of healing, you could see his ribs beneath. And I assume because the way he has the creature now, his back would have been opened up.
Yeah.
Deep furrows in his flesh. Blood just spilling everywhere.
So walking up in the midst of this combat to her companion that's bleeding once again, if she just got done healing, she reaches out and touches him and casts the same spell that she had cast. And you will get back 11 hit points as you feel this warmth and you feel the wounds start cleansing. It kind of burns as it's a sting. It wakes you up. It's refreshing at this moment with the anger. It adds to the intensity of it. And I will use this morning star that's floating above this thing's head and just drop it down on top of it.
Nice.
Yeah, that misses.
All right.
So, yeah, so something happens. And she moves, and Alessandra's distracted for a split second and fucks up her spell, misspeaks the word, and the thing just kind of lingers there. It doesn't move at all.
All right. Perfect. Sorry, your turn again.
All right, so seeing Vidar holding this beast on the ground and us actually getting some successful strikes upon it, you see Sori throw the bow aside, pulling out her two short swords, and runs recklessly towards the beast on the ground. And as he closes the ground, she sees Alessandra helping Vidar, and with that she says to Vidar, "By the severed hand of Tyr, hold it down for a little longer, Vidar." And she lunges forward with her short sword. She's actually trying to do a called strike of sorts. She's trying to focus on the back of the legs of this creature if they're exposed, to try and reduce its movement in the future if it is to stand up again.
Well, let's do something like I will say you've got disadvantage, and if it hits, it's a crit.
Well, that's fair. All right, so this is the first attack. So you see her lunge forward, and she's kind of tripping over the coins and stuff underfoot as she does so, but she's able to get airborne, and when she comes down, she's trying to strike into the Achilles of this large demon monster. So the advantage is a 1. So I did not successfully strike.
So yeah, you do slip on coins and fall flat in your face.
Nice. Sori's good for one of those a session.
Yeah. It's never going to be as bad as that fights with Panache guy you had in that Numenera game.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So, Vidar, you hear me speaking these kind words to you and jump into the air and trip, and as I do, you see me skid across you and the demon, past you in the corner of your eye. You see my face is digging deeper and deeper with my feet up as I bury myself into this pile of coins.
Yeah, and a cloud of coins clatter up into the air, time freezing for a moment, and they fall back down.
Wah, wah, wah. All right, it's your turn.
Oh yeah, my turn again. Okay, so I'm going to, because right now it's grapple, but it's not preventing it from attacking. Is there something I can do that? I can.
Yeah, you basically do another grapple check to pin it, I think.
So yeah, basically that's what I'm going to do. Is because I've got it, my shoulder, and it's got my arms around it. And I'm going to try to stand up straight and just fall back and slam his head into the floor.
Nice. Suplex.
Exactly. Oof. So it would be 11 only, I'm afraid.
Okay, so it's gonna resist.
Or
that.
wait, no, it would be. I'm sorry, it would be because it's athletics. It's 16 or
Okay,
14.
well then you succeed.
Okay, cool. So it's now I basically have slammed it. Is there any with my bonus action? For my extra attack, can I just try to squeeze it to do damage to it?
Headbutt or something? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So yeah, that would just be, I don't know what the bonus would be, but it'd only be, if it's a straight attack, it'd be 12.
So it's more of a nudge than a headbutt. But yeah, you've definitely suplexed this bad boy, and he is pinned to the ground. Bloodsong.
Alright, so as I see this amazing feat of athletics, as he takes it and he suplexes it down, I kind of kneel a little bit, and I tap Heartbeat onto the ground to one of the blood puddles from the demon, and the heartbeat begins to speed up even more now, and the blood is actually absorbed into the sword. And before I do the attack, I'm going to go ahead and roll first. And okay, so there's a 17 and a 13 hit.
17 does.
17 does? Okay. So the little blood after it enters the sword is going to start spinning around rapidly. You can see spikes actually emerge from it. And I start raising my right hand, and with my bonus action, I'm going to cast Hex on it. And what this is going to look like is that basically its entire body is going to start letting loose this little smoky black ore that's feeding itself into the blood spinning disc behind my heartbeat. And I charge at it, and I pull it in the air like this, and I slam it down with all of my strength. And this is why I do 2 damage. Oh, I do another 14 points of damage to it, plus another d6. That's going to be 17 points of damage.
All right, that finishes it. Go ahead and describe it.
All right, so as I bring down the blade disc, it actually breaks into 7 different pieces, and each one's going to go through another one of this thing's disgusting limbs. It's going to kind of pin it there as it's being suplexed. And then I'm going to look it in the eye. I'm going to bring up heartbeat really, high into the air. The heartbeat now is basically going, 100 times a minute. It's almost like one continuous sound. The blood glow at the that goes around the edge of the blade is now completely filling in the blackness. And then just slowly, almost gingerly, I tap it to the tip of this thing's forehead, and I slowly sink it in. And Bloodsong lets loose this almost sexual sound as he does. His eyes go pitch black. They're actually absorbing the light from the torch itself. And you guys are going to see this blood of the creature actually rise up, go into the blade, and start feeding itself into my body, as it looks like I'm actually absorbing its life energy. And then the sword shatters in my hand, turning to dust as I step off of its corpse.
Awesome. So again, the demon's body kind of shudders and then begins to decompose almost immediately, just like rots down to nothing within a couple of seconds. Also, the gold you're standing on begins to rot and turn into goo and maggots and insects. The weapons turn into bones, and there's nothing left. No treasure of any kind.
As his prey slips from his grasp, disappearing into nothingness, Radar snarls, getting to his feet, stamping down on the remnants as the last of it disappears, panting, blood spilling down him as he slowly comes to his senses.
Sori's face down in this pile of gold that starts to transform into these disgusting things. So you see her roll over onto her butt and back and skittishly back away from this, and then suddenly it's gone as she regains her composure, looks around to see the demon gone, not having seen Bloodsong's heroic final strike against this creature.
I'm just using the butt of my spear and stomping out and mashing these maggots and these grubs as they're like blowing up underneath of it, thinking of the demon and him claiming that he would last forever, and now seeing him a withered piece of shit on the ground and smiling.
Alisade is clearly upset from the bodies disappearing, and she speaks out to Bloodsong. Do you know why everything that dies disappears?
Don't know, don't care, but I would like that alcohol that Vidar has. And I look at the alcohol. So I turn and look at Vidar. As my eyes start turning back to normal, you see the whites again as the blackness fades.
Vidar walks over and retrieves his axe, then reaches into his pack, pulling out the skin, and passes it around to any that want it.
Now, if there's more runes still in the... You still have the rune that you had pried loose, Ragvald.
I tried to keep it. I don't know what happened to it once we killed it.
Yeah, so it's actually like a small rock that had been placed into the ground. Like they had carved a little space for a stone to go, and it's got this rune carved into the front of it.
And there's additional ones, right? So I'm gonna go claim one myself as well, as a memento and also as a piece of evidence for the Jotun out in front there, as a proof that we slain one of the creatures.
Well, if these runes had power over the creature, we could also maybe use them to our advantage, so perhaps we should retrieve all of them, just in case.
Mayhaps, and if not, they make for a great trophy. As I walk over and I pry one out, and as I do, having taken my fill of the wineskin, I toss it over to Reinvold.
I grab it, hold it up, and just piss it into my mouth. I slowly start fumbling around in my pocket, and I hold up the little stone, and I appraise it. Jogomir. Jorgen. No. And I can't remember.
All right. So the room is pretty dark. Still, you've got the torch in the middle, but otherwise it's pretty dark. There is just one way out of here. Sorry, the way you came from, and another way. So 2 ways.
Okay, I guess
Go ahead.
I guess the first thing I'm going to do after drinking my fill is go over to Vidar and use some of my good Odin lovin' on him. I'm going to take my blood and trace a circle on the ground. I'm going to start carving these profane-looking lines all over it. As Vidar is just standing there, I don't know what you're doing while I'm doing this, Vidar, but it's quite ceremonial.
Is it something I would have seen you do before?
Yeah, you probably see me do it to heal people.
Yeah, so then I would just stand there panting, clutching at my innards as I tried to force their way free.
So you see me like jump into the circle and throw salt at you, and I start yelling something about the Norns, and I jump out and I jump in again, and I start like touching you in random places, and I cast my second level cure wounds on you. So that's my second level spell slot.
Vidar has mixed emotions as this is going on, as he suspects that most of this is unneeded, but he endures it knowing that he needs the healing that will come at the end.
It ends up healing you for 9 points, and as you feel your vitality returning, for a split second, you think you see the fluttering of raven wings in the darkness.
And Bloodsong, sitting on the ground, he's seeing this go on, and he says, "While your healing is powerful, my friend Mindvold, and what we have done is glorious, I would think it wise if you rest here maybe an hour, perhaps, a little longer, a little less. Killing demons is a very strenuous work, as I'm sure you all understand now."
As they're doing this, Alessandra goes off and down the other corridor.
Continue on.
Yeah, as quietly as possible.
Sure.
She'll make eye contact with Sori over in the corner, and just kind of trudge off while they're sitting there basking in their own glory.
Sure.
Well, I'm actually laying on my side. I've like unfolded a piece of cloth on the ground. I'm laying on the side of it, and you see me pull out a handful of grapes I took from the grove 4 days earlier, and I start just popping them up and eating them.
Mindvold, throw me a few of those.
Yup. I throw it connected to the stem. There's probably like 7 or 8 of them on there.
I literally take the whole thing by and all, and I like dip it in my mouth, and when I pull it out, it's just completely free of grapes. I'm like, man, these are good, man. And I throw it down and just kind of relax a little bit.
All right, so you guys relax for a little bit, take a bit of a rest, and Alessandra is going to move on to the next room and have a look. So you follow down a little corridor and you come into this room, and it's like a square room, and there's like a little pit about 10 feet down with stairs leading down from each side. And at the center is this like huge, like massively morbidly obese creature, like 15 chins and huge wide mouth, a big smile on its face, and sees you approach and says, "Ah, welcome. Come, sit and eat. There's much to celebrate. And you are a beautiful thing. Come and sit." And it kind of lifts this like gigantic, huge arm, just like points lazily in the direction of a table, and there's this like table just like groaning with food, but it's all rotten and gross. The stink is like unbelievable. Like all of the cakes and stuff have rotted and turned to cheese. It's like really, really awful. The smell is unbelievable.
I throw up in my mouth a little bit from the smell, holding it down, swallowing it back. I squat down looking at this fat beast who's been stuffing its mouth for I don't know how long. And what are you?
I am celebrating. It's a good time. And this tongue comes out and like stretches across the room and picks up like this rotten loaf of bread that's 100% mold, and just like, come and join me. The food is great.
Where do you come from? Who put you here? Why are you trapped in this place?
Trapped? I'm simply too lazy to move. I like it here. The food never ends. And it's so delicious.
Alessandra, trying to take shallow breaths in this foul smell area, starts to creep back away from this creature, just quietly trying to drift back into the shadows, seeing if he'll let her slip away.
You see as well, crawling all over him, there are like smaller versions of him, little, like this size, kind of like fat little creatures that are crawling all over him. One of them like crawls out of a nostril and like starts licking an eyeball and stuff. They're just crawling all over him. He's like, "Where are you going? Are you not hungry? I invite you to my table. What bad manners you have."
I'm sorry, I'm not hungry right now, and I run.
Okay.
I don't know if I see Sori, if she came, or I don't know if she saw me or what, but
Yeah, she saw you. She saw you leave, and she went to the doorway. So she's listening at the doorway, kind of as a liaison between yourself and the people that were left behind. So she hears your pitter patter of your feet as you approach, and she turns to the others, and Alessandra returns.
As I run through the corridor, you hear me approach, my breath's heavy, frantic, my eyes fearful from what I just witnessed. I bring this stench with me that's sunken into my clothes as I sat there and talked to this creature, and you catch a scent of it in your nose as I approach you. And did you catch any of that?
No, sister. I just saw you go into the darkness, and saw and smell you return. What did you find on the other side of the black?
A fat, foul creature sitting there. Chins, too many to count. Creatures that look just like him crawling around on his fat body. His tongue could stretch feet away, lashing out, taking food into his fat gullet.
This place is very unnatural. It unnerves me. The quicker we're out of here, the better. Did it seem to be restrained like the other? Was it contained in some form of arcane ritual?
No, he seemed content to be here. He seemed like he was here of his own free will.
Did you see any runes like the other? Any acknowledgments of what it was that we may face?
I can't remember. I don't think so, though.
Yeah, you didn't notice any runes or anything.
Yeah.
No more talking, women. And I stand up and I look at Reinvold and I say, something wants to be hunted, my friend Reinvold, so let's go hunt the shit out of it. And I head straight down towards where she came from.
I get up and throw the great stems into the wall and take off after him.
Radar pushes to his feet, his eyes narrowing slightly at the man and the way he talked to his companions, a low growl rumbling in his chest as he whistles for his wolf and his dog and follows after.
And as you go by Sori with the dogs, Sori whispers to you again. She's like, "Careful, my friend. I fear your dogs are no longer the dumbest beasts in our group." And she's gonna hold back a bit, like she's not eager to go forward.
Despite the head starters, they're moving down the hall. They would hear a loud laugh booming from Vidar echoing down the hall after him.
So you like run down this hallway, and then like halfway, you like actually hit a wall of smell. You like there's just a sudden point where the stench becomes like unbearably strong, just of like rotting food and like a vomit and shit and sweat, and it's just really
I'm
terrible.
not phased. My decade of sowing wild oats has toughened me.
I'm
All
covered.
sorts of odors and musks.
I'm covered in basically demon shit and blood, so I mean I've already been smelling pretty rank. So I mean I just went straight through it, my man Reinvold. Do we see the table now?
Yeah, just about. You can see this thing, this fat monster, kind of just like lounging, um, and yeah, this table kind of groaning, filled with food. Vidar, yeah, the dog and the wolf hit that wall and stop, and they refuse to go any further. They start like crying and yelping, like they won't go in. The stench is way too strong.
Yeah, he'll motion him a little further down the hall to wait.
Yeah.
He'll kind of cover his nose with a large hand, but it won't deter him as he continues forward.
And as the dogs backtrack towards which they came, they go past Sori as she's creeping up in the shadows, trying to not only be quiet to the creature that waits, but also her companions. And she slowly brushes her hands across the two hounds as she, goes between them.
So as you guys enter the room, again, it turns and raises a hand and says, welcome. Come and sit and eat.
Well,
Go ahead.
you go ahead first, because what I'm going to do is going to be bad.
I think I will, friend. And I jump onto the table and I start kicking off plates as I'm approaching this demon. And I say, "Look upon me no more." And I wave my hand through the air as I cast blindness on it. So it needs to make a DC 15 con save.
What are you doing? My food!
Fuck your food, and I will kill you tonight.
DC 15, was it?
Yep.
Alright, so he fails.
Alright, so it's blind for 1 minute, so it has disadvantage on attacks, and we have advantage to hit it.
So when I see him cast the blind on it, I'm gonna run forward at it and say, "You're in my seat," and try to chuck him with my shield and throw him off of this fat, nasty little nest he's made.
So this guy is huge. Like, he is enormous. There's no way you could budge him.
Oh damn! Well, I'm gonna do it anyways. I'm gonna smack him in the face with the shield. So let's see. That's pretty low athletic, so it's not gonna have any effect. So my bonus action, I just like hitting a fucking huge bag of fat with I don't even know, with a towel or something. So I'm like, okay. I recoil, pull out my spear, and yell, "For Odin!" and jump forward and attack.
Alright, let's do initiative. Go ahead and do your attack, and then we'll do initiative.
Alright, fuck yes. So
Holy damn.
My first one's going to be 26.
Yep.
Alright, I'm going to use first level spell slot, Divine Smite. Is he a fiend?
He is.
3, 5, 7. Alright, so it hits him for 11 points of damage. 5 of it's divine. And then my second attack is going to be only a 14.
That'll still hit.
Oh.
You also have advantage because it's blinded.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, snap. I should re-roll those two to see if it's a crit. Nope, it's not. Okay. So once again, I'll use another first level spell slot. It's going to be 6, 8. So this one does 12 points of damage, 6 of it radiant.
Okay.
So you see me just stabbing into this large mound of flesh. As I pull it out, it like sucks at the spear, and you can see like blubber spilling out of the holes. Come, fight with me, lads. There's enough for all.
Oh, why? I welcomed you to my table. Alright, let's do initiative. Wow. That's a 2.
Seven.
21 for me. I think most people wrote it inside there.
Thanks.
15 for Vidar.
15 for Vidar. Who got 7?
At 6.
Reinvold did.
6. Okay. Six for Bloodsong. And Alessandra? All right, we'll get that later.
I think he's AFK. I get 21.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you're first anyway.
All right, so they're down in a pit of sorts, right?
Yeah.
All right, so you see Sori. Actually, you don't see her initially because you think that she's still back in the other room because she didn't come with the group. But all of a sudden, exploding out of the darkness, you see Sori jump into the pit, attempting to land onto this large creature's back, like Legolas style, if you will. And she's going to strike at its neck region with her short swords, so with advantage. So that's going to be 21. Oh, sorry, 19 to hit.
Yep.
So the creature hasn't went yet, so I'm going to get surprise assassin ability on that.
Yep.
So that's going to be 8. 10, 17, 23, 27, 28, 29. That's 33 points of damage with her first strike. So you see Sori jump out of the darkness, this creature unaware, and she lands on its back, and she thrusts down with her dominant hand, and then she kind of rolls down the back of this creature, and she's going to disengage with her bonus action, and then she's going to kind of like back up into the far side of the pit to try to give her some space, putting Rangval between her and this beast.
Cool. Okie doke. Vidar, you're next.
So what is the size of this creature?
Huge.
Okay, and it's like in a lower area than when we come into the hall.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a square, and then kind of sloping downwards into this sort of pit.
Okay, so Vidar was moving methodically down the hall, his footsteps echoing faster, beginning to a trot. As he clears the doorway and sees the scene before him, he's not going to slow, he's going to leap, a la Van Zandt from Reign of Fire, pulling his axe up over his head, leaping through the air, coming down, swinging for the creature.
Awesome.
The 15 for the first one.
That's a hit.
And again, you have advantage, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
That's 14 for the first hit.
Okay.
So as he lands, the axe bearing the creature, he pulls it out, pulling it back for a second swing. So yeah, that's like a 23 for the second hit. Yeah, 16 points of damage.
Okay. Man, you guys are wrecking this guy. So Renvald, you're next.
Okay, so I'm watching him take all of these blows. Is his mouth open? Is he like
Yeah.
yelling, making noises, grunts and stuff?
Why? I just wanted to be your friend.
I drop the spear, and I'm gonna try to snatch into his mouth and grab his tongue and rip it.
Nice.
So what would that be, athletics? Like a grapple?
Yeah, I'd say so.
That's not great. It is... It's 4, 7.
Alright,
13.
I guess he'll do a check as well. I don't know. Let's do that. Yeah, he's not an athletic guy, so you'll win that. You grab his tongue.
Alright, sweet. So I'm guessing that's all I can do with my action. I'm just holding the tongue really tight, pulling on it.
Yeah, like wrapping it around an arm, ready to pull it out. Perfect. So then, Bloodsong.
So as I see this great demon prostrate before me, being torn apart by my friends, I stop just inches away from him, still sitting on the table. I throw back my coat, and you see the empty scabbard, but there's a black flame rising from it. And I say, I beseech you, my great gluttonous friend. And I reach into the flame, and I start drawing from it the beautiful black blade of Heartbeat. And I say, please listen to my very, very bloody song. And as I brandish the blade into the air, again it kind of glows red, and I cast Hex on the creature with my bonus action. You see the black mist start rising from it. And then, without further ado, I start trying to chop this thing to pieces. So it's going to be 2 attacks with advantage. All right, oh, thank God for advantage on that one. Okay, the first one's going to be a 15.
Mm-hmm.
The second one's going to be a 18.
Take 2 hits.
All right, it's going to be a lot of d6s here for damage. 6, 10, 11, 12. I do 16 points of damage.
Okay, nice.
And the since Hex also gives it disadvantage, I want to give it disadvantage on I don't know, strength, dexterity, strength checks. Strength the score.
Strength. Okay. Sounds good to me. All right, so it's gonna get a go. It's just totally fucked. I think it's gonna cast, or can it even? All right, it's going to unleash a cloud of stink. So it just seeps from every pore of this thing. And you thought the stench was bad before, and now it is overwhelming, and everybody's going to have to make a Constitution save.
I got a very amazing 7.
Okay.
17.
60 for myself.
14.
You there, Alessandra?
Yeah, but I never went down the corridor.
Oh, yeah,
Still
that's true.
go back.
Okay. So 15 was the target, so I think Bloodsong and Ranvold are both going to fail that, which is going to be 5 points of poison damage, and you're also going to be throwing up for the next turn.
Oh, I'm immune to it because I'm a paladin.
Oh, you're immune to disease, right?
Oh.
Yeah, okay. Well, Bloodsong, you are vomiting uncontrollably. Just the stench is way too much, and you just start throwing up really, really unpleasantly all over the place.
Yeah, that's disease, isn't it? It's
Yeah. So then, Alessandra, it's your turn.
Hearing the cries of battle and the clanging and the grunting and all that, she starts creeping back down the corridor. Now this beast clearly shook her. She's never seen anything like it. It's unnatural to her. All the things in here, it's starting to freak her out. Even the undead concept, it's starting to dawn on her that this shit is weird. And she creeps slowly towards the sound of this battle. So can you bring me the picture in so I can refresh
Sure.
my mind's eye?
Yeah, so it's like a square room with like a sort of a ledge on each side, like a 5-foot ledge, and then it slopes downwards into this pit. At the bottom of the pit, there is this huge, fat, obese demon, and a table that's like groaning full of food, and then down there is everybody else. They're all kind of jumping all over the place and slashing at it.
Seeing this shakenly, she will do the only thing she can do, which is attack this foul creature and help her companions any way that she can. But she's so shaken, I'm going to put her at disadvantage. As she mutters a word, she's casting Guiding Bolt, and you see this shimmer from her palm. It's not as bright as it usually is. It's dim. It doesn't look like it's a very strong spell, as she mutters weakly, trying to cast it in fear. Spell check. 16 plus. Does a 21 hit?
It does.
Wow. Oh, hold on. I didn't do a disadvantage. Okay. Yeah, does an 11 hit?
It does not, no.
Yeah. So, yeah, she's unable to. She's sitting there. She's trembling, her lips quivering with fear. She's looking at her companions. She's realizing what she's in for now, and she's unable to steady herself as she tries to cast a spell and help her companions.
Nice. All right. Oh, Sandra, then it's sorry. Oh, yeah, Chris, take some inspiration for that. That was great. Yeah, sorry, your turn.
So Sori had backed away from the creature previously, so she was kind of outside the range of this nauseous cloud. As she approaches and she's going to go back in for another strike. She pulls the wolf cloak that she had stolen from her estranged or ex-husband at this point, and she kind of like drapes it across her face to protect her from the residual smell as she runs full speed towards the creature. And as she gets closer, she whips the cloak away and thrusts forward with like a rapier-like attack, but using her short sword. Is it still blinded at this point?
Yep.
Alright, so that's a 17 to hit.
Mm-hmm.
So Sori does 19 points of damage with the first lunging strike.
That takes it out.
Alright, so you see her, she runs forward with her cloak up, kind of like a Dracula type scene with this black cloak wrapped around her face, but it's not for effect, it's to prevent her from being slowed down by the stink that's still lingering. And as she climbs up the table, past the vomiting Bloodsong, who was the hero in the last encounter where she was face down in a pile of shit, she lunges forward with the strike, and when she does, she comes up underneath into the throat, up to the skull of this gluttonous creature, and you see her slowly turn the blade as it reaches its brain. And then she whips it out and whips it across the cloak as it thumps to the side out of its seat to the bottom of the pit.
So it kind of bubbles. Gas seeps out. And then splat! Soaks everything in the room with this goo. It's hideous sort of pus. It stinks. And it hurts. It burns. It's acidic. So everybody give me a Constitution save, please. You're okay, Randall, because it's disease.
Yes.
18.
All right, you're good.
Would we have had a chance? Well, I guess if it soaked the room, we probably wouldn't have a chance to jump out of the
Constitution save 10.
Okay.
14.
Mm-hmm.
21.
All right. So, sorry, and Alessandra, you're both going to get splattered with this stuff. This
That's
acid
cool.
starts burning into your skin. It's going to be 9 points of acid damage.
I'm going to use my uncanny dodge, if I can, as a reaction to take half damage.
Yeah, sure.
So,
You
as
feel
this thing explodes and the acidic blood and guts land on me, I'm able to like kind of put my hand up a little bit, and it sizzles into my arm, but it doesn't hit my vital, beautiful face.
immediately the wounds that you've taken, the acidic wounds, they look like they're infected, and you feel quite ill. So you might have been infected with some sort of nastiness from that. The table collapses, and the food kind of coalesces into a pile of goo as well and spreads. It's actually probably like just about a foot of like wet sort of goo at the bottom of the pit.
So Bloodsong is actually lying in all this goo because he was standing on the table and he was vomiting, so he couldn't jump off. So you guys like see like just like this flat still surface of nasty slime, and then slowly a hand comes out from underneath it, kind of groping for something. That finds Ryan.
Oh, go ahead.
And it finds Reinvald's his belt, and he uses that to pull himself up. And another hand grabs his wrist, and he pulls himself just up from the goo, just dripping it. Good work, everybody.
I'm going to toss this thing's tongue that I now have in my hand. I imagine I ripped it off when he exploded. I throw it to the ground and it flops around like a serpent. And I walk over to where he was sitting, kick the debris off of it, and sit down. Stab my spear in the ground and say, "There! That was my seat."
So yeah, in this kingdom of hideous puss goo, you are the king.
Yeah, you can just see the oozes smoking on my body, but it's not doing anything to me. And I'm just sitting there with this nasty ass grin, looking out over the room.
All right, so we're gonna have to call it there because it's like 5 a.m. here. So yeah, we got some progress. There'll be more of this next week. Any closing statements?
That was a fun ass game. Thanks for having me.
Indeed.
Happy
I'm
to
just gonna write disease down there for the purposes of following up with that in a future session.
You can write down demon rot.
Demon rot.
Yeah.
Okay, so unlike Bloodsong, who made such a big show of the situation, Sori, in contrast, is kind of like hurriedly wrapped a bandage around her arm and kind of trying to hide it from her companions.
Okie doke.
But yeah, awesome game. I quite enjoyed that session
Good.
tonight for sure.
Yeah, Reinvald's gearing up to kill everything else we see.
Yeah, I like the the approach of just kill everything, shoot first, don't ask any questions.
Undead, man, Maleficarum, they gotta die.
That's
They
true.
got it, dude. Gotta get my glory.
All right, so thank you to my players. We have Stereotypical Strider, Christopher Carosella, DMT Tabletop Gaming, Dennis Kellogg, and SR2 Joker. I am your LDM, and thank you for watching.